The diplomatic hall of the Zathrine mothership gleamed with bioluminescent panels that pulsed in rhythms unknown to human perception. Jasper stood rigid in his ceremonial uniform, trying not to let his nervousness show as he waited alongside the other members of Earth's first interstellar delegation. This was humanity's moment, their first formal contact with the galaxy's oldest civilization. Then Eleanor walked in. She wasn't supposed to be there. As the Zathrine's human liaison, she should have arrived hours earlier to brief the delegation. But there she was, rushing through the crystalline archway, her auburn hair slightly disheveled, her eyes bright with the kind of intelligence that made Jasper's breath catch in his throat. It happened in an instant. Eleanor's gaze swept across the room and locked with his. Time didn't slow, that was a myth, Jasper realized, but something fundamental shifted in the universe's geometry. His heart hammered against his ribs with a force that seemed to echo through the quantum foam of space-time itself. Eleanor stumbled, just slightly, her datapad nearly slipping from her fingers. And that's when the Zathrine queen laughed. The sound was like wind chimes made of starlight, musical and utterly alien. Queen Velshara rose from her floating throne, her 6 crystalline eyes all focused on the 2 humans. Her mandibles clicked in what the delegation had been taught was amusement. "How delightfully primitive," the queen said, her voice transmitted directly into their minds through the translation implants. A chemical cascade, neurotransmitters flooding synapses, pupils dilating, skin temperature rising 0.7 degrees Celsius. She floated closer to Jasper and Eleanor, who both stood frozen. "You humans still experience the mating imperative as poetry." Ambassador Chen, the delegation leader, stepped forward quickly. "Your Majesty, I apologize for any apologize." The queen's laughter intensified, and the bioluminescent walls seemed to pulse in harmony with her mirth. "This is why we find your species so fascinating, Ambassador. You've barely crawled from your cradle world, and yet you carry such chaos inside you." Jasper felt his face burning, but he forced himself to maintain diplomatic composure. He'd trained for years for this assignment. He wouldn't let a chance encounter, however earth-shattering it felt, ruin humanity's first impression on the galactic stage. "Your Majesty," Eleanor spoke, her voice steady despite the flush in her cheeks. "I bring updated intelligence on the Kreeth border situation." Yes, the Kreeth." The queen waved a translucent appendage dismissively. "They will posture and threaten for another decade before doing anything of consequence. But this," she gestured between Eleanor and Jasper, "this is far more interesting." The queen circled them slowly, her crystalline form refracting the chamber's light into rainbow patterns. "Do you know what we Zathrine discovered when we evolved beyond our biological forms? We gained efficiency, logic, the ability to process information across quantum states simultaneously. We became powerful beyond your comprehension." She paused, her eyes dimming slightly. "But we lost the ability to feel what you're feeling right now. That irrational, inefficient, completely illogical conviction that this stranger is somehow essential." Jasper couldn't help himself. He glanced at Eleanor again. She was looking at him too, and something passed between them. An understanding that transcended words, that made the vast alien ship around them fade into insignificance. "We've studied it, of course," the queen continued. "Your love at first sight, it's a cocktail of oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin. An evolutionary trick to encourage pair bonding and reproduction. We can replicate the chemical formula precisely." Her voice softened, becoming almost wistful. "But we cannot replicate what it means." Ambassador Chen cleared his throat. "Your Majesty, perhaps we should proceed with the formal negotiations." "Tell me, Jasper of Earth," the queen interrupted, using his name though he'd never introduced himself. "What would you sacrifice for this feeling? For this woman you've known for exactly 43 seconds? The question hung in the air like a challenge. Every diplomat in the room tensed. This was a test, Jasper realized. But a test of what? He thought about lying, about giving a measured diplomatic response. But something about the queen's ancient gaze told him she would know. The Zathrine had been reading the cosmos for millennia, before humans discovered fire. She would see through any deception. "I don't know yet, Your Majesty," Jasper said honestly. "I don't know her. I don't know if what I'm feeling is real or just biochemistry. But I know that I want to find out. And yes, I think I'd sacrifice quite a lot for that chance." Eleanor's sharp intake of breath was audible in the silent chamber. The Queen's eyes brightened, cycling through colors that had no names in human language. There it is. That beautiful human irrationality. You would gamble everything on a possibility, on a feeling you yourself admit might be illusion. She turned to address the entire delegation. This is why the Conclave has decided to accept humanity into the galactic community. Despite your technological primitiveness and your tendency toward violence. Ambassador Chen blinked in surprise. Your Majesty? You humans are chaos wrapped in flesh, the Queen explained. You make decisions based on emotions we can no longer access. You create art for no logical reason. You fall in love in 43 seconds and let it change the trajectory of your entire existence. Her form seemed to pulse with an emotion that might have been admiration. The galaxy has become too orderly, too predictable. We need your beautiful, irrational chaos to remind us what we've lost. She floated back to her throne. The Kreth threaten war because they follow logical territorial imperatives. But you humans, you might go to war for love or refuse to fight for poetry. You're unpredictable. In a universe governed by entropy and mathematical certainty, you are the variable that makes equations interesting again, the Queen gestured. And holographic documents materialized in the air. Treaties, trade agreements, technology transfers. Welcome to the stars, humanity. Try not to let your chaos destroy everything. She paused, her eyes finding Jasper and Eleanor again. But don't lose it either. It's more valuable than you know. As the delegation erupted into excited murmurs and began examining the treaties, Jasper found himself moving toward Eleanor. She met him halfway. Hi, he said, feeling foolish. I'm Jasper. Eleanor smiled, and it was like watching a star being born. Eleanor, I know this is crazy, but would you like to get coffee after this? Or whatever passes for coffee on an alien mothership? Yes, she said without hesitation. Yes, I absolutely would. Above them, the Zathrene Queen watched the two humans with her ancient crystalline eyes and felt something she hadn't experienced in 10,000 years. A ghost of an emotion, a memory of what it meant to be beautifully, irrationally alive. Perhaps, she thought, there was hope for the galaxy yet.